નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી.
Hello students, so now today we will study about the frequency polygon. This is the topic of standard 9, chapter number 14, statistics. So in the last class we have studied the same question, right? And at that time one of the questions they asked is, can we represent the same data that we have represented as a histogram? Can we represent the same data using another method, another graphical representation method? Yes, we can represent this data using another graphical representation method, and that we have stated that it is a frequency polygon. Now what is frequency polygon? See, we will understand the same thing first of all in this question. Here in this question we have first of all make the class interval continuous, then we represent the data on the histogram, right? Now the meaning of the frequency polygon is, first of all we have to draw here. First of all we have to take the mean values. The mean value of this class interval, right? The first class interval is 117.5 to 126.5. Now here we have to take the mean value. What is the meaning of the mean value? To take the mean value, we have to add both these numbers and then divide it with the 2. So here the two numbers are 117.5 to 126.5. Let us add both these numbers. We get 5 plus 5, 10, 0, 1 is the carry. 6 plus 1, 7, 7 plus 7, 40. 40, 1 is the carry. 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. And 1 plus 1, 2. Here is the 244. Now whatever the value we get by adding these two, divided with the 2, we get the answer 122. So this will be the mean value of this class interval, and we will call that mean value as a class mark. So here we have to now make one of the more column, right? That is called the class mark. Now for this first class interval, the class mark is equals to 122. Now see, this 122 is where exact between these two intervals, right? So here we will get the exact mean. That is why we find out the midpoint, right? Add both this class interval, add both these values, lower class limit and upper class limit, then divide it with the 2. So we get here the answer 122. So where it will be? It will be exact between these two values. Now, in the histogram, we draw near the rectangles. But in frequency polygon, we do not need to draw the rectangles. So what we have to do? Here, the first value we get 122. So here we have to consider this value on the horizontal axis, that is 122, and on the vertical axis we have to take the 3. That means the mean value of this. This thing we have done for only first class interval. The same thing we have to do for all the class intervals. So everywhere we get the midpoint, because the meaning of the class mark, that means the mean value. So everywhere we get this mean value in the mid of this bars, right? And now, if we join all these values, see, from this point to this point, this point to this point, this point to this point. Now, from here to here, from here to here, and from this point to this point. We can give the name of these points like this: B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Right? B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Here it is stated that this is called the frequency polygon. Polygon means the closed figure, but this figure is open. From this, here nothing is there, this is open. This is also having here, this is open from here. So to close this, what we have to do? We have to add one of the class before this. What is that class? If we add one of the class before this, that time there is no values of the frequency, so we can take the frequency is equals to 0, and frequency is equals to 0. That means these are the frequencies and frequency 0 becomes on these lines. So that mean value we get here. Now we can join this point with this 0 frequency and that will be our point A. So now this polygon is now closed from this side. The same thing we have to do here. For that we have to add one more class here, right? That is start from 180 and then according to that value we have to take another class. That also has the frequency 0. That means the mean value we get here. And now we can join these points and we can give it the name R. So now here you can see that the frequency polygon is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I. It is now closed from this point to this point. It is closed with this horizontal axis. So that is called the frequency polygon. Right? We have used the value of this frequency. This is called the frequency. That is why it is called the frequency polygon. Now when we draw the frequency polygon, it is not required to draw this bars. We can only have to draw these mean values. So what to do whenever we want to draw the frequency polygon? Just make one of the column that is given in the question and then find out its class mark. Okay, let us understand this thing using the another examples. Okay, so here we have taken the example number 9. Example number 9 is in a city, the weekly observations made in a study on the cost of living index are given in the following table. So one of the table here we have given that cost of the living index, that is first is 140 to 150 and in another column number of the weeks it is 5. 150 to 160 it is 10. 160 to 170 it is 20, 170 to 180 it is 9, 180 to 190 6 and 190 to 200 it is 2. So here we want to make the frequency polygon for this data. So here we have to use one more column that is called the class mark. And what is class mark? That we know now very well. Class mark means we have to add both these limits, lower class limit, upper class limit, and then divide it with the 2. So here if we divide 140 and 150, we get the answer 290. And now divide it with the 2, we get the answer 145. So the first value here we have to put is 145. Now second value is 150 to 160. Actually it is what? The mid value, right? Mid value between 140 and 150. If we move back from 150 and we move ahead from 140, then where we meet? We meet at the point 145. In the same way, if we move ahead from 150 and move back from 160, where we meet? 155. And the same value we get if we add both this number and divide it with the 2. So in the same way, here we get the 165, here we get the 175, here we get 185 and here we get 195. So this is how we can get the class marks, right? And here now there are frequencies according to these values, right? Here it is 9, here 6 and here 2, right? Okay, now here we have drawn one of the graph. That is, this is the, we have taken the, on the horizontal axis we have taken the cost of living index. This is cost of living index for our classes. And on this vertical axis we have taken the number of the weeks, right? And that is what? Our frequency. Number of weeks means the frequency. Now we have to put down the values, this class mark and frequency. See, 145, the frequency is 5. So here we have taken the scale of the 2. 1 unit is equals to 2 weeks. These are the weeks. So from 0 it is 2. Now the scale of the 2 unit, that is why we have taken 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18 and 20. So the value of 5 is here between 4 and 6. So on the horizontal vertical axis we have to take 5 and horizontal axis we have to take the 145. So let us see where these 2 points meet each other. From 145, if we consider this and 5 from here. then both these values are approximately hit in this point. So mark this point, right? Second value is 155 and we have to get 10. So on the horizontal axis 155 and on the vertical axis we have to go up to the 10. So both these values are approximately hit in this point, right? Both these values meet in this point. This is you can do actually in accurate way because you have the graph. I don't have graph. Okay, so third is 165 and 20. 165 and 20, that means up to this point. 165 to 20, that means up to this point. Right? Slightly down. Now, third value is 175 and 9. 175 and 9. 9 is there between 8 and 10. Right? 8 and 10. That means here. 175 and here. So you get approx. You will get actually the exact value. Right? Now it is 185 and 6. 185 and 6. 6 means we have to get right up to this. And 185, that means here. And 195 and 2. 195 and 2. 195 and 2, that means here. So here we have put down all the points, right? We can also give the name the points, right? Like this is our point B, this is C, D, E, F and G. Now join all the points. From B to C, from C to D, right? From D to E, from E to F, and from F to G. Now this is our polygon, but it is not the complete polygon because polygons are closed, but this is open. So how to do now? How to close this? Here we do not have the previous class interval. That is why this problem is first. And here we do not have the next class interval. So what we have to do here? We have to add one more class interval. Now think, if this class interval ends with 150 and this starts with 140, that means previous class ends with the 140. And what is the here class interval? That is of 10. That means this will start from 130. And here we do not have this frequency, so we can take its frequency as 0. As frequency is 0, the class marks is also become 0. Right? Sorry, class mark not become 0. Class mark means the mid value. The mid value here we get is 135. Yes. In the same way, one more class interval here we have to add. This class interval end with 200. So the next bit will start with 200 and it will end with 210. Here also no frequencies are there. We can take the frequency is equals to 0. And what will be the class mark? Class mark will be 205. So before this we have to add this class mark here, that is 135. And at the end, after 195, we have to add 205. Now what is the value of the frequency? That is 0. That means we have to consider this point itself. Because here the frequency is 0. If we go in the vertical axis, then we get the 246 value. But here on this value axis is 0. In the same way, here also we get the 0 value. So now join the remaining part. Join this point with this. So now it is closed from this side. The same way, this frequency polygon is now closed here. So now we can give the name here, and this point is A, and this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. This H. So now it is get closed, and that is we have prepared our frequency polygon. Right? So the things that you have to keep in mind is, first of all, observe the class interval. If the class intervals are not continuous, then first of all make the class interval continuous. Then find out the class marks. Then according to that frequency, represent all the points on the graph. Right? To represent the points on the graph that we have studied in the Cartesian plane. That is easy. In the same way we have to represent the points. Right? And then first we have to add one class interval before the class interval is given and one more class we have to add after the class intervals. And the frequencies we have to take as a 0. So that we can close our frequency polygon. That is the simple thing. Okay, so this is how we can make the frequency polygon, and it is the another method to represent the data on the graph, graphical representation. So three methods we have studied. One is the bar graph, second one is the histogram, and third one is the frequency polygon. Right? So this is all about this lecture. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.